Hi everyone, it's Jen here. Thank you for watching Really Rooted. Everything in the garden is looking amazing and I thought it was time for a tour. This is the formal rose garden and we worked on this last winter. Most of these roses were planted last year and some were planted this year. And then this climbing rose here in the corner of the house was planted, this is its third year in bloom and it's doing phenomenal. Let's go take a closer look at these roses. These roses here are called First Prize and they're just lovely. This one here is a medallion. It's gorgeous. And this arbor rose is called Tangerine Skies, and you can see why. It has some brilliant colors. Pinks, tangerine, yellow, orange. They're just magnificent blooms. See if I can get closer and show you some of the colors. I mean, they're just magnificent. This rose has performed really, really well. I don't quite remember the name of this one, but I will try to remember to put it on the screen. It's kind of a real light peach. And this is just a specimen. I have 3 of these planted here. And although I have 3, this one in the center is the only one blooming. Behind it is a verbascum, and this is called Southern Charm. Aren't those colors lovely? The peach with the purple. They're just gorgeous. Here's another climber. And we have roses planted all around the perimeter of this brick border. And most of them were planted last year and a few of them were planted this year. So let's take a look at some of the ones that are blooming. This one is blooming and this one was just planted this year. This yellow rose was planted last year and I need to deadhead it, but it just is abundant with blooms. This rose was planted this year, but it does have a couple of buds. This one was planted last year and has several buds. This one was this year. Look at that beauty. Just gorgeous. Another First Prize, and then some more that were planted this year. This one has really struggled and I've been babying it a little bit, so we'll see what happens. I may have to replace that one. Unique bloom there. This is an iceberg climbing rose, and I have them flanking the house, so hopefully they'll grow up kind of over the entryway of the roof line, and hopefully that'd be really lovely. Let me see if I can provide some shade. It doesn't look quite as nice in this bright sun. I have a couple of iceberg rose shrubs over here, and I think those will look really nice peeking over the top of the boxwood hedge. The lamium is blooming nicely. And this area last year was mostly dirt, with the exception of the daffodils and this hosta right here. And I don't know the name of this hosta because it was here when we moved in. So if anyone knows the name of it, please let me know. I have a Big Daddy hosta here, an Empress Woo. That one's a guacamole. The Limelight hydrangea. I'm hoping this area right here gets enough sun, but we'll just have to wait and see. And I just transplanted a lily from the backyard up here to the front that was not getting enough sun, as well as this obedient plant. I just transplanted that here as well. And another limelight. I recently planted some annuals in this bed. The coleus is doing wonderful. And then I have some foxglove. This is a blood-good Japanese maple that we planted about, oh, I'd say a month and a half ago. And it looks lovely with this Joe Pye weed. The colors in it kind of go together really nicely. And the peony is about done, but the blooms were just beautiful. Beautiful, beautiful. I'm gonna back up here. Eventually this cedar will go away, but right now I feel like I still need that extra shade. But once this gets large enough, I'm going to take the cedar tree out. A little lime hydrangea here. This area gets quite a bit of sun, and it's weird because most of the garden gets shade, but this particular area does get sun, and I have some dahlias coming up in this area. So I'll just have to keep my fingers crossed and see how those do. This is my first time really planting anything in this area, but I hope they'll do well. This is a newer hosta garden, so a few of these hosta, the larger ones, were planted last year, but the majority of them are quite small and were started from roots this year. But I think by next year it will be looking very full and lush. I have a couple of holly ferns, and we had some iris here that bloomed. They're done blooming, so I do need to probably put those back soon. In this area, we call this the woodland garden because I really don't do much in this area. But here is a rhododendron that just bloomed for the first time. And I have some hostas planted in this area, as well as some bleeding hearts that I just planted. From root, so we'll see how those do. And let's go around to the front side of the house. These snapdragons actually came back. They overwintered from last year, and I was surprised to see them, but they're doing pretty well. And then I have a Patriot Hosta. If you have a sunny area, a Patriot Hosta is a good choice for a hosta for a sunny location. This oak leaf hydrangea is starting to bloom. And it's just magnificent. 2 candy apple hydrangeas flanking the pathway into the Zen Garden. A waterfall Japanese maple. And I have some hosta planted underneath there. And on the gate I have some sweet autumn clematis. And you can see here I've just transplanted. I had to dig Crocosmia lucifer out of the back garden for some boxwoods, and so I transplanted it here, so we'll see how it does. I have another clematis, a different variety, and I can't remember which one, so I'll have to wait and see when that flowers which variety that is. This, guys, is the Zen Garden, and I really haven't done much work in this area. I have a few things. I have the Montauk daisy here that I planted in a video a while back. I have some tiger lilies. I recently transplanted this elephant ear from the back garden to over here in the Zen Garden, and I have another one that's transplanted there. But this garden does have a lot of weeds and it needs a lot of work, but I really enjoy this space because it's kind of on the edge of the wooded area, and I like to come out here and sit in my hammock chair and just listen to the birds and relax. It's just a really nice area, even though it doesn't look like it's nicely manicured. And then we have a bird nest in here. Let's see if there's anything in there. Nope, just a nest. I did pop in some hosta down here, and so let's hope the deer don't eat them. They may eat them. But I thought it was worth a shot. We have honeysuckle everywhere in the woods. I mean, it's just growing like crazy, and it just smells so sweet, so lovely. A pinball wizard allium. And this area here is my cutting bed, and it's one of the few areas that gets a ton of sun. So I have my dahlias planted here. I have a clematis, 2 different clematis vines here. One has already bloomed, and it looks like the other one is getting ready to bloom. And then some crocosmia, some lilies, some oriental lilies, and some gladiolas. And I just planted about 80 more gladiola bulbs in this area, so it should be quite the show. Over here I have another iceberg rose that was just planted. We'll see how it does. This particular corner gets a fair amount of sun, but maybe not enough for the iceberg rose to thrive. So we'll just have to wait and see. We have the Duchess of Edinburgh clematis. And then lamb's ear. And this is the area where we've placed the boxwood hedge, and it goes all the way around, and I will carry it over. I ran out of boxwoods. I will carry it over to go all the way to this edge in a big horseshoe shape. We have hostas in here. We have Bressingham Blue, Big Daddy Hosta, a holly fern. This is really just a nice little piece of heaven for me. Most of these hostas were planted last year, so they're not even at their full size. So I'm guessing when they're full size, this area will be really nice and lush. And then I have limelight hydrangeas planted behind the boxwood hedge to kind of peek over, and that will help provide this hosta area with a little bit more protection. It is under a crepe myrtle, which does provide a little bit of protection, but that sun in the morning is pretty strong. So hopefully between the boxwood hedge and the limelight hydrangeas, that will help give these hostas a little bit more protection. Over here, we have some more ferns. I have an ostrich fern back there. More hosta, Bressingham Blue, Big Daddy, and big leaf hydrangea. And a camellia. And these camellias aren't doing great over here. And I think this one back here, I just trimmed it back, but I think it's getting a little too much sun. So we'll just see how it goes. I may end up pulling it out. This pocket right here gets quite a bit of sun, so I planted an iceberg rose, and we'll see how that does. Again, when you live in the South with these huge trees, you kind of have to test areas that are in the shade but then get a lot of sun. A lemon coral sedum. This is flowering now. I suppose I should cut it back. And then I just planted more along the perimeter of the border. Alright guys, thank you for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, please subscribe. If you have any questions or comments, please feel free to leave them in the comment section below. I do my best to remember the names of all of my plants, but unfortunately once I start recording, my mind just goes blank and and I can't remember them all. But if there's something specific that you'd like to know the name of, please just send me a message and I will do my best. Thanks again for watching. Have a great day. Bye.